I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did anyone want to approve the minutes, or did anyone have any changes?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome. Does anyone have any comments about anything that's not on the agenda? Move on to committee reports.
All right. I think that starts with me. So I put in front of your places here a copy of the Flathead County Superintendent of Schools statistical report for 2024. And just a few of the highlights I can hit, and then when you have time to look it over more carefully, you can let me know if you have any questions or anything. So the report shows our enrollment, first of all, was 531 on October 7th. Our enrollment last Friday was 542. So we're hoping that those people stay until February, at least. Over the past 10 years, our enrollment has fluctuated between 522 and 574. So it's not real big. It would be nice if it started going up slowly again. There's also data on out-of-school or out-of-district enrollment. That shows that there are 198 resident school-aged children who do not attend school at Summers or Lakeside. Of those, 81 attend private schools, 42 are homeschooled, 30 attend Big Fork, and there are 23 in Kalispell, and then just sporadic numbers elsewhere. Our per pupil expenditures were $10,986 per pupil in 22-23. 12,095 per pupil last year. Those numbers are definitely higher than usual because in those last 2 years we were spending money from the ESSER grants. And so that's likely to go down this year. Salaries and benefits make up 83% of our general fund expenditures. And we have the full allowable 10% of general fund reserves. Our district has about $42 million in taxable property value. Our mill levies total 81.34, which is up slightly from the previous year, but lower than the 5 years before that. Our total expenditure budget for the district is $7,054,411. $1,168,469 of that is for debt service in this building. And funding sources, 48% of our funding comes from local property taxes, 10% comes from county taxes, and 36% is from the state. A quick and dirty review of the statistical report. A couple other things that I have. Last month we handed out copies of the emergency plans for both buildings, and I just wanted to give you a chance to ask questions or make a suggestion if you have anything we want to follow up on there.
Do we have a policy about drones?
About drones.
You can bad joke.
No, but right, we better get one. We better get one right now. All right. Well, let me know if you come up with a question later. One last thing I wanted to take a quick look at with you was the posting for the superintendent position. That was in the packet, but you can see this is what the School Board Association has come up with so far. It's kind of colorful flyer. Got a little bit of information about the district, like our population, average class sizes, student-teacher ratios, some of our co-curricular offerings. Mostly a lot of nice pictures. The School Board Association people pulled these off our website, so they made easy work of that. information about the community, general responsibilities for the superintendent, and then here under application requirements, there's something we need to discuss. So when I contacted them, they just arbitrarily put this salary range at 100 to 110. I contacted them to say, is that your recommendation or is that just a place filler? And the response I got back from Deborah Silk was the average elementary superintendent in the state is at about 115. So her suggestion was to make that 110 to 120. But that would be a board decision.
You said that was in the state though, right? That was
Right.
the average in just Montana.
Yep.
Do we have a local average? Do we know that? I mean, when it comes to the,
Not really. I mean, usually Dr. Barron and Evergreen sends us a spreadsheet. I haven't seen it for this year. Summers is on the low end, but we're also on the low end of how many days we expect the superintendent to work.
Is there any way we can get access to an updated spreadsheet that details that?
I can get that to you, sure.
Just so we have some data
yeah.
to use for that recommendation?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like whether we go up or down, I think we want to have the appropriate math to support whatever our recommendation is.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I can't recommend going down.
Right.
I don't see that attracting.
But I just, if we're not all of a sudden, if we get into it and someone wants 130 and we're at 120 or something, what is our basis just for future conversations and negotiations?
Yeah, so superintendent salaries are negotiable. I mean, so you can say it's between 100 and 110 and 120 and then negotiate a contract with somebody that's different than that and ties your hands.
Would there be any regional data on that? Because we attract people, obviously, from out of state.
Right.
And it may be curious to, I'm just speaking out loud, you got Oregon, Washington,
Yeah.
Idaho. I'm just thinking of a regional, because it seems like we really do try to pull people, or we end up getting people that move here.
True. So my knowledge of Oregon and Washington, Wyoming is they're quite much higher than we are.
I would have thought the same too.
Right.
That's why I'm asking if
Yeah.
that might prepare us.
Maybe. Okay. Let me look into those things.
I mean, but in the sake of time,
Right.
is that gonna hold up the posting if we don't? Yeah, I mean, I'd be,
Oh,
Yeah.
I just think for future too, just so we have a basis for conversation and negotiations where, as you pointed out, if, we have a 10% less requirement in days worked or something like that
yeah.
can be applicable in negotiations. But I think for getting just a range so this can get up and get going so we can get interest, I think.
So I think I would recommend that you go with what Deborah Silk said, 110 to 120.
I would agree. They haven't looked at this before. This isn't their first go around.
No, this is one of the main services that they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Call that cool? No, I'll just take your advice.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Can I ask a question back on the
Sure.
statute?
Absolutely.
I was looking at the out-of-district attendance, and they give just this current year. Do they ever supply what that looked like previous years, so we can see what that's trended?
No.
Okay.
However, I have previous years of this stored electronically, so I can pull those out and send them if I can.
I'd be, because just seeing, I think, what we have, a 2% growth is what I read over the last 10 years, so I'm just kind of curious, what has homeschool and whatnot done? Is that why we haven't seen the growth that other areas have seen?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I don't know, that was just one random.
Right. In 2020, 2021, the number of homeschoolers in the valley doubled, and not all of them have come back,
Right.
certainly.
Yep.
That was a big factor there. Just from my loose recollection, we've always had a substantial number of kids that go to Big Fork, partially because part of our district is in Big Fork's high school district. And the homeschooling is usually the largest group. I was kind of surprised that private schools were larger than homeschool right now. But I'll find those older reports. and
Yeah,
send
just
them.
kind of curious, yeah. You mentioned the ESSER funds will take down our per pupil expenditures. I think we're at 12,000. Any idea what that, if you back that out, what that it would be?
I'd say it could go down by as much as 1,000.
Could it?
I'm
Okay.
not sure. We'll see it.
Yeah, I mean, the average is 11.1, so then if we're at a little over 12, that puts
Yeah.
right about the average.
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious.
Of course, those schools all had ESSER funds too, and some of them, like Evergreen, had a lot more ESSER money than we did. But they may have invested it heavily in the first year of that spending and not so much in the second. So that the ESSER funds were distributed to schools according to the Title I formula,
Okay.
which is based on the poverty level in your district. So,
Hence Evergreen. Yeah.
right.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you also have to take a look at the amount of children that are in a school, because the less children there are, the less there is in the class, it tends to raise the per student, because you still have as many teachers and less students in there, so
Right.
we are on the smaller side of some of those schools in there as far as high schools and all that other kind of stuff, so when I was looking at that, it's like, the school has 9 kids in it, but it's 16,000 per kid, but
Well,
you know,
yeah.
that's how it works out. So.
Right. You don't get economies in scale with that kind of number.
Right. It's hard to take an average is what I kind of thought was on that, like,
Right.
well, similar schools, maybe.
Yeah, no, I was trying to look at similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw out the outliers.
Mhm.
And then I just was curious last front on the fund reserves report. I noticed and not many schools do, but break out like the building reserve, the debt service fund, that type of stuff. I know we have all that in our budget. I'm just curious why it's not reported independently on, it's the page 9, the pink sheet. Because then you turn it obviously, and then the levies, page 11 is talking about the levies specific to all those funds and why we
Right. So, yeah, I'm surprised we don't have, building reserve would have money in it in my mind.
Right.
Debt service certainly does, but it's not a reserve.
Oh, yeah,
We
just
don't have
debt.
anything for adult debt though.
Right,
Levies.
yep. And the main two are building reserve fund and debt service funds. We're the only two. I know those are big part of our budgets. But we're not the only ones, and I know we're not the only schools that have those either. So,
I was curious, because I know we have money in there that we've carried over.
right.
I'll check into that.
And this one, sorry, I did say last one, but I lied. Sorry. I'm on page 10.
All right.
I'm on the taxable values. This was just curious. There's that Russell number 48. What is that?
That's that part of our district that is in Big Forks High School District,
Okay.
our elementary.
Okay.
So starting from Sportsman Bridge and over to almost,
Lower Valley, is it?
yeah, Lower Valley Road definitely, and Farm Road on the east side.
Okay.
And it doesn't go all the way north to the end of our district, but it's probably a good mile in there to the north.
Yeah, I think it's like right across from Goose Lane or something.
Yeah,
Right at the corner.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's what I was just kind of curious. Thank you.
So that's it.
Nothing specific. I was just curious. What does now the superintendent, does anything come of this report? Is this purely information that they just shared? Does anything get?
Yep, really information.
Okay, that was it.
All right.
Heard that one.
5 seconds.
Moving on to Lakeside Elementary, if you had anything you wanted to report? I mean, I read it. No?
Anyone have questions?
Okay. All right. Mr. Hooper,
I have nothing to add.
nothing to add?
I would just ask, shocking.
Chance, what can we do for you?
Just nothing specific but I'm just kind of curious, because I read that stuff and it's good information. I appreciate the effort you guys put into it. I guess, self-identifying, is there areas that we can look at? Like, is there stuff that we should be paying attention as the board from your guys' eyes that would be helpful to you guys versus just using it as just informational? Is there just a way to get this information, just, hey, this is on our radar, that maybe something coming to the board? Just, I know a lot of that's coming through you, Joe, as a superintendent, but I don't know if there's a way just to, not just share information, but also, hey, here's where we can use support, if it's even just like volunteering or whatever it is, if that'd be something to add.
Are you looking to substitute Peach? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I That's what I was hearing.
Okay, we're moving on.
That was quick.
I got nothing else. Thanks, Jacob.
I think
No, but
some-
that's definitely something that we could reach out and, have involved in that. That's definitely.
I think something I've appreciated is the board's willingness to kind of seek to understand, because a lot goes on in our buildings, and sometimes there's a deeper piece to the why behind the work or the other decision that was made, and I just really appreciate the board's openness to gaining that understanding and really listening to that piece, because from there we're able to move forward, because sometimes there's just a ton of stuff that goes on, and knowing the why behind it and being open to that is something I know I appreciate, and I would ask that you guys just continue to do that piece as a starting point.
That sounds way better than substitute teaching. But I think that's a great echo. So yeah, so if there are things we just need to be better informed about as board members, because I don't know what we don't know. And this is a whole nother world as I'm figuring out. So yeah, any heads up as to please focus on this, or here's maybe some more information behind the surface level, that would be tremendous.
And if you guys have things that you want from us, the framework that we were given was given from, I think we started it with the school board last year. But if you guys want specifics, maybe it's, instead of highlights for something, you want something else in addition. I can speak for myself that I don't have problems providing it, but we don't know, so if you want something, ask.
Well, and along that line, I was wondering, because math now is the testing, shorter chunks. Will we be able to see those results with the mass testing as opposed to waiting for that SBAC?
They're beginning to exist. So
Yeah.
we were able to pull them at the end of this window for what we had, kind of deal. And I think next month is when we're gonna plug a lot of that in.
So January is around the time frame, like January, February, when we do our, I usually report in January our star growth reports.
Okay.
Something to know about that specific piece is that the percentile rank keeps changing in STAR. Now you have to be at the 70th percentile in reading nationally to be considered a grade level reader. And you have to be at the 80th percentile to be considered grade level in math. That means a fourth grader has to be doing mathematics at about the 6-year, 5th month level. And so we're working to calibrate around that. We do have mass testing results. I haven't kind of wrapped my brain around how to share that information yet, because window 1 is kind of a progression to window 2, and so they use them like common formative assessments. You're supposed to look at that test, look at the data, and then use that data to teach your next steps. So by the time you get to April, May, when you take that final test, you're able to say these kids met benchmark. So maybe some thought around how you want to see that data and what it means to us would be helpful, because we can give you raw data, but
Right, and I'm not going to understand it because I don't have anything to compare it to.
yeah, and we don't either at this point.
Right.
So I don't know if we want apples to oranges, apples to apples. Do you want us, one of the things with STAR was, do we go to growth percentiles? Like, these kids are growing. these kids we need to work on, and this is the work that we're doing in order to be able to shift and move the pendulum. We can do that kind of work too. I think it's what the board feels is most meaningful. And right now, a lot of things have shifted, and so I know I'm trying to figure that out because I want to give you guys things that make sense. I also know that our measures have changed, and how we make sense of that is another part of that puzzle.
Okay.
And we could also do it in like 2 chunks, because we got the 4 windows, so even doing it after the first couple windows, which will be more, what, February,
We probably won't get it back till about the 1st of March.
and then again at the end of the year kind of a deal, so then you guys can kind of see that initial, so it's not a once a year thing, as opposed to being able to have a little bit of growth piece into it, and then know kind of where we're at the end.
So like this first phase that you went through, like you said, it's kind of fluid, it sounds like. So do you identify areas of like weakness and strength in those?
Yeah.
So would that maybe be an easy way to summarize, is just say, hey, here's where our kids did well, here's where we're showing we need to improve, so then we can correlate that back when we look at the next set of data, because in theory you guys are adjusting what you're focusing on, so the next window we should see improvements in the areas that identified it.
Right.
Yeah, so for example, down at the elementary school, 4th grade, informational text would be a focus area in literacy. You know, I haven't looked at 3rd grade data yet because they tested the 19th of November, so it might just be out. It takes them about 2 weeks. So we can give you that information, absolutely.
Versus just globs of data.
Right.
Yeah.
Sit there and be like, one last question.
Yeah, but that's definitely something we can do, so you guys can kind of see where that's at.
Yeah, thank you.
Everything.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's one thing I neglected.
Oh, okay.
I put a sheet in front of you called supplemental questions. And the School Board Association needs you to choose 2 or 3 of those to add to our search process. There's a question there that inspired it, and then you know. Those.
Did we this tonight? Are we getting
You can
email?
tell me later.
Okay, so
That'd be
let's
great.
email Joe, so we're not meeting time.
Sounds good.
This is a lot of questions to go through.
Do we just want to have responses back to Joe by Tuesday, Wednesday? Just so we're not holding up the,
Yeah, Wednesday would be good.
with Wednesday, is that good? Can we just commit to picking 3, our top 3?
Sounds
good. All right. Good suggestion.
All right, are there any staff members who have a note? PTAs. PTA?
Hopefully Ann will be here next month and she can tell us about
So how?
Holiday Fest. It was very well attended.
Oh, good. I knew a lot of people who were going.
I would just say thank you for the teachers for the holiday pies.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for that.
That was fun. Thank you, Chance. We're going and getting them.
Yeah. And as I say, and through donations of the board, we would the budget, so that's why you didn't see anything. So we're able to just cover it, so.
All right, so we should probably, no committees met.
No. And I think at the January board meeting, we'll have to schedule a couple of committee meetings, but we don't have to do that in preferences.
Sounds good to me. So we need to schedule our January meeting. I can't believe it.
That's the 20th.
So the 20th is a CP day. I don't know, that doesn't, it's not written in stone, but previous boards have been reluctant to meet on days when we didn't have school.
Okay.
See your cause for that.
could, if you want to meet the week before or the week after, is that be a problem? Anyone?
I won't be here, I don't think, the week before on the 13th.
Okay.
27th works for me.
27th.
Okay, let's do 27th. That way, if you want to go enjoy your kids, you can do something with your kids.
That's good.
And that'll be at Lakeside.
Right.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Did you all read the letter of resignation from Scott Simonson?
Yes.
And Callie. Motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Any questions, any discussion?
When do we need to fill this vacancy?
As soon as
I think I
possible.
can post it this week and plan to fill it at the next one.
You know when Scott's was done?
May.
His term was going to be up in May anyways.
This May, so it'll be
Finish his
pretty
term.
short. Got it.
So we usually fill those pretty fast, traditionally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, I mean, we had two other people
Yeah.
who were interested last time.
Right.
And they'll come back.
So they'll be notified then.
Yep. Great.
And they'll be where it's short and they'll be up for re-election, should they choose.
That's right.
Got it.
All right, all those in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Singular action items.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5th grade girls basketball coach, Brian.
Second.
Those in favor?
Can I do it all of those at one time?
Okay.
That was a dramatic pause.
Sakura White, and then 8th grade Jacob Alpha. Sorry, I did hesitate a little long in there.
All right, any discussion? Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the approval of the expenditures. I did have a question on it was Summers 1124 and it's 17312. I was just, it just seems like a lot of money for socks.
Jacob, tell me about crew socks for basketball.
For socks for basketball.
We ordered crew socks for basketball. Every basketball player got a pair of socks, and that was part of the fundraising that we had for the chocolate sales. Went to that,
Oh, okay.
so they all matched and looked cute and adorable and
Nice.
manly if they were a boy. Yeah,
All right. Good choice.
The girls too.
yeah, that'll be for both. Yeah, we have extra that are sitting in my office ready for the girls.
Oh, so that came out of fundraising, not general fund stuff? That came out of
Oh,
fundraising.
true. Yeah.
That's, okay. Good to know. That was my only question. Anyone else? Okay.
I did see in there it's small, but it's not a big deal, but like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation membership, we pay for that.
I think we do that through the library and we have their magazine.
That's okay. I'm like, I'm assuming there's something there, but
I looked at that one too, but
Yeah.
I also just don't know what the Harris commercial card is. Who's that? What's that?
Those are our credit cards for the district.
Okay.
So we have credit cards for administrators, we have a credit card for like a department.
It's
So
all under
sports-
one though. That's
It's
what I
all
was-
one payment.
Okay. I didn't see any breakdown. I thought one person had one card.
No, everybody in the district uses those cards.
Cumbersome.
And we actually try to steer people toward using the cards when we have expenditures because we get a rebate on it.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
It can be a motion. Did I have a motion? No?
I don't think we have a motion on expenditures yet.
What I was gonna ask is I saw something here right up, which tied back to this for like, I think, is it the janitor who's doing all the sidewalks and stuff for like snow removal and ice?
Yep.
Is that part of the janitor's duty or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we had like parking lot. Do they do the parking lot?
So Tanner Smith does the parking lot.
But only if we get like 3 inches of snow or more.
Yeah.
So
Or like-
custodians do the sidewalks
Okay.
and, they'll create a path through the parking lot. That's kind of the day custodian duty.
Okay. How good has Tanner been on doing the parking lot? Because I know I was here.
He was starting to get a hold of a few different times. Mr. Marty finally got a hold of him his last go around and he came and threw some stuff down because he explained we have, pregnant teachers and walking virtuals and games.
Yeah, with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm looking at snow right now.
But we don't want anybody to fall and be hurt. So,
Yeah.
so at that point, Tanner let him know that he would keep a little bit of track on it, hopefully. So we're hopeful that that ends up being the case.
Are those type of things that go to contract every year, like RFP? Is that a process for that type of stuff? No. Because do we have a set contract with Tanner on that stuff?
No, just as he bills us as he has to do plowing.
Okay.
So if we don't plow at all, we don't pay.
Right.
And sometimes he forgets to bill us too.
The kindness of his heart.
As long as he doesn't forget to show up.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That tends to go hand in hand, yeah. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditures.
I'll second. Is there any more discussion? You can ask a question.
So and I'll just go back to that. I assume that there was like a Prime subscription. That would be something of probably as similar as the magazine Elf, because I was thinking of like somebody getting an Amazon Prime subscription.
That's the video, isn't it though?
Yeah. And so I didn't know what it
I think it's
was.
actually a subscription so that we can purchase things.
Purchase things, yeah, next day or whatever
We tend to buy a lot
Yeah.
of stuff there.
from Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of the approval of the expenditures?
Aye.
Moving on to the approval of payroll.
I was just curious, where does the SRO officer show up? Is that in payroll, or is that in expenditure?
No, it'll be an expenditure that we pay. In the past, we've paid it to Big Four because we share that person with them.
Yep.
So it's either a payment to Big Four or to the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. So I was just kind of curious, it sounded like, is that contract, that's renewed every year, right?
Yeah, I think we might have a 5-year commitment to that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just kind of curious because it sounded like there's times called her and wasn't being super responsive, so I was just kind of curious at how that is monitored and are we just subsidizing Big Fork's costs if her priority is Big Fork and not here?
No, so we set it up when we renewed our contract, and we just renewed it this summer. We expect her to be here on campus 1 day a week. That doesn't work out for every week because the sheriff's officers have a lot of training and professional development to do, and sometimes it happens on our day. But generally, Paula's available 1 day a week to be here, and as needed when we call. There was a time this fall when we called when she was very, very busy, and the SRO from Evergreen came in.
So 1 day a week, is that for both Lakeside and Summers?
Yeah, but she's hardly ever at Lakeside.
Yeah. Assume which there's less need for Lakeside, but.
Well, you'd be
I'd be
You would be
surprised. I have some interesting situations that happen, but Paula's need is definitely kind of more applicable to the middle school and some of those pieces, but as needed, she's come down and worked with us on some things.
Is 1 day a week enough for both? Just curious.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do more than that. I mean, she has been doing the internet safety training for people. That's been very useful.
And the hard part is it's flexible. So I mean, there'll be some times where she can come in on Wednesday and totally thumbs, but then at the same time, there's weeks that are really good times. So. You know, so that need does exist. I mean, we were able to get her the other days. It's kind of hit and miss, you know, but sometimes I have to get, like Joe said, some other people, we've had to do that a couple times when she's not able to pull away. But she's not coaching this year, which has helped a little bit compared to in the past when she was coaching for good folks.
So when like the Evergreen SRO comes up, are we billed separately for that, or does that fall under the same contract, basically?
They just back each other up.
Okay.
You know, and if we had to, we could call the sheriff's department and send somebody out.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's just nice if it can be somebody who, you know, is an SRO, not a patrol officer.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask my question.
We still need a motion for approval.
Move to approve payroll.
Any further discussion on the payroll? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
No, Scott's not here.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I was going to carry that torch.